Hello and welcome to the sixth video on calculus. In this video, we are going to discuss functions. So the first thing we need to know is what is a function. So the easy way to define a function is a function is it's like a machine. This function is like a machine which takes an input. A function is like a machine which takes an input and it does something on this input. It makes an operation, it does an operation on that input, and it gives back an output. So all function is it's a machine that takes an input and does something on that input and gives back an output. And so that's the easy way to define a function. Let's take an example. So if the function's operation on an input is like to add one is the operation of the function, and we give an input like suppose the number 2, and if we give the input and this function's operation is to add 1 to that input, so what output do we get? We get 2 plus 1, right, which is 3. So that's how a function works. Let's take another example. It doesn't only apply to numbers. It can also be uh, like the function operation is pick the first letter of the input word. Pick the first letter of the input word is the function's operation, and we give an input, suppose a word like pen. So if we give an input like pen, and the operation of that function is to pick the first letter of this word pen, and the output that we get is simply p, right? So that's the easy way to define a function. A function is a machine that takes an input and does something on that input. It does an operation on that input and gives back an output. Now let's take a look at the more complicated definition, no, more mathematical definition of a function. So let's do that. So every function has something called a domain and a codomain. The domain is a set of inputs. We can since it is a set, we can represent it like this with a circle, and let's say these are all inputs. These all x's are inputs. The domain is a set of inputs, and let's say this is the domain, and the codomain is a set of outputs. It's a set of outputs, and let's represent this too with a set with a circle with x's inside. These are the outputs, whereas these are the inputs. Okay. So that is a domain, and this is the codomain, and let's call this set A and this set B. And what a function is uh, it just maps every element from this set, the set A, to exactly one element in the set B. So it should map every element in this every input in this set A and map it to exactly one element in the set B. So something like this is also allowed because it maps to exactly one element, right? But something like this is not allowed because every element in this should map to exactly one element, whereas here it's mapped to two elements, right? So that is not possible. And all the elements in the codomain need not be mapped to like something like this, and we can map each and every element from here. uh, oh, it's getting little dirty. Yeah, something like this could be possible, but even if all the outputs are not mapped to by this function, it's still not a problem, that is possible. And so this is what a function is. A function is like a relation from a set A to set B, where each and every element in set A should be mapped to exactly one element in set B. Okay, that is the mathematical definition of a function, and it's represented like this. So we have a function which is represented with small f, and it's represented like from capital A to capital B, like so this function maps each element from the set A to exactly one element from the set B. So that is how we mathematically define a function. And this set A is nothing but the domain, and this set B is just the codomain. So the function maps every element from the domain to exactly one element in the codomain. That is the mathematical definition. Now let's look at the more common representation of the function. So a function is usually represented like this: y equals f of x. You might have heard about this, where this is read as f of x with brackets in the middle, and here the x is the input and the f is a function, and this y is the output, right? And so y equals f of x is the most common representation of a function. Now let's go through a few examples of functions. uh, let's say the first one is f of x equals 2x minus 3. Now this is a function because here we can substitute any number instead of x, and if we substitute any number we'll get an output, right? So if we suppose let's substitute 3 in here. If we substitute 3 in there, we'll get f of 3, since we are replacing x by 3, and f of 3 is going to be equal to 2 into 3 minus 3, right? Because x is 3, then it's going to be just 3. So that's how a function works, and it basically is a representation in the form of x. A function usually, it need not be always that way. And now let's go through another example. Let's say a function is f of x equals, let's say, 9x squared. Okay, f of x equals 9x squared, and let's calculate the value of this function for x equals 2. So we want x equals 2. Then we are going to write f of 2 equals 9 into 2 squared, right? Since x equals 2, then it's just going to be 9 into 4, which is 36, right? Let's go through another example. This function is slightly different from the usual function. This function is like f of x is divided like this. It's divided into x plus 2 when x greater than or equal to 0, and x minus 2 when x less than 0. So for all values of x, the function is not same, unlike here. When the x is greater than 0, the function is x plus 2. When x is less than 0, the function is x minus 2, right? So if you want to calculate the function for, suppose, f of 3, then since x is greater than 3 is greater than 0, we'll calculate this function. We'll calculate this. So it's going to be, f of 3 is going to be 3 plus 2, which is 5. But if you want to calculate the value of the function for something like f of minus 5, f of minus 5 is less than 0, so the function now becomes this. So it's going to be minus 5 minus 2, which is minus 7, right? So these types of functions are called piecewise functions, and they are also very popular in limits, which we are going to learn next. So these are some examples of functions, and now let's go into the concept of domain and range. Okay, I'll explain what those are. So domain and range. Let's start with domain. So domain is the set of all possible x values for a function. So it is the set of all possible values of x for a function. That is, it is all the possible values of x for which the function exists. So let me take an example. Let's say that f of x equals x squared. For this, what are the possible values of x such that this function exists? We can see that if we substitute any number, whatever number we substitute in place of x, the function exists. If you take a negative number like minus 5, it becomes minus 5 squared, which is 25, which is a definite number. If you take 0, and we'll get a 0, which is also a definite number. If you take any positive number, then also we'll get a definite value for f of x. That means we can see that for all values of x, the function exists. So we can say that the domain is all real numbers, since we can substitute any number here, right? So that was one example, but let's now take another example. Let's say that f of x in this case is under root x plus 1. What about this? What about this function? What is the domain for this function? Now, in this case, if you put any value for x, will the function always exist? I mean, can you put all any value here? I think it's not true, because the square root is defined only when the inside term is positive or 0. I mean, the inside term has to be greater than or equal to 0, right? So that means this term here, which is x plus 1 has to be greater than or equal to 0. If there is a negative number inside the square root, it's not defined, the output is not defined, because we don't define square root for negative numbers, right? So the inside term here has to be greater than or equal to 0. That means this has to be greater than or equal to 0. That means we can see, if we send this to here, we can see that x should be greater than or equal to minus 1. So clearly we can see that it is not for all values of x, the function is not defined. For only those values, for only the numbers greater than or equal to minus 1, the function is defined, the function exists. For other values, it does not exist. So domain only includes, domain equals greater numbers greater than or equal to minus 1, right? We have a specific notation to say this. I'll show you that. We can say the domain is from -1 to infinity. Here we use a square bracket, and here we use a parenthesis, because in this square bracket implies a closed interval, which says that -1 is included here, but this parenthesis represents an open interval, which means this is not included, and that's why we used a square bracket here and a parenthesis here. This represents a closed interval, and this an open interval. So the domain of this function, of the function under root x plus 1, is from -1 to infinity, right? So that was about domain. Now let's talk about range. So the range is a set of all possible values of y, of all possible values of f of x for a function. It is the set of all possible values of y of f of x for a function. Let's take an example. Let's say y equals f of x, right? Let this equal x squared, for example. Uh, what this range tells is what are the possible values of y for this function. Can y be anything? Can y be all the real numbers? I don't think so, because this the square of any number should be greater than or equal to 0, right? So this term is always greater than or equal to 0. That means y, which is f of x, is also greater than or equal to 0, right? So we can see that y cannot be all values. It can only be the numbers greater than or equal to 0. And since the range is a set of all possible values of y, that means range also includes only the numbers which are greater than or equal to 0. So we can represent it like range belongs to the set 0 to infinity with a closed bracket here and an open here. So the range is the set of all possible values of y, whereas the domain is the set of all possible values of x for a function. So that was what I wanted to discuss with you today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.